Well, the project is complete, and here's the official name. It's Vina. Hey everyone. So, if you've been following me on this project, started, I don't know, back in March, I think, somewhere around there. Somewhere early in the year. And I finally got down to finishing it, so it's totally complete. Everything is installed. All my software from the old system has been transferred to this one. My Final Cut, I finally got that working. I know I said I had some problem getting it working in the last video, but I found out it was a graphic card issue. And it wasn't with the graphic card that I got, not the new one. It's the one that's actually embedded on the board. So I had to disable the internal graphic card, the one that's embedded on the motherboard. And once I did that, then Final Cut started up with no problem. And as far as the sound, I had to install some extra software to fix that issue, but now the sound is working. I also mentioned that I wasn't getting any sound coming from the sound card that's built in on the motherboard. So after doing a little online research from the forums and stuff like that, I found out I could just try a couple things, and I did try a couple things at first. They didn't work. So I kept on digging, and eventually I found something that I tried and it worked. So now I'm getting sound blasting out through my sound bars that I got hooked up to this system, because I did a video on that sound bar hooking up to your computer. Check it out if you haven't seen it, and it sounds great. The sound is being separated through the sound bar, and it's just blasting out everywhere, and the bass is coming from the subwoofer that's under my desk. And like I said, it sounds great. I was jamming with it last night. Now I did have one issue that I didn't mention in the last video. That's because I didn't realize it was an issue until I tried to hook up all of these 3 monitors. Now that video card can support 5 monitors. It's got 2 display ports, 2 HDMI ports, and a DVI port. Now while I was setting up the system, I was using the DVI port just on this monitor because I was just going through the setup procedure, and I didn't need all 3 monitors just to set up the system. Now once I completed the setup and I was ready to hook up the other 2 monitors so I can have my original setup like I had before, that's when the problem came in, when I couldn't get the other 2 monitors to show up. This one was showing up and these 2 would not register. They kept saying no signal. So what I did was to reboot the system, and it still wasn't coming up. So I had to do some more tweaking as far as the software to tweak these things to make them work the right way. And then I reboot a second time, and sure enough, all 3 monitors start displaying. So the last thing I had to apply to the system was the name that I said I was going to have a final name for it. But even in the last video, I didn't even have a name yet, because I had Project Doble, but you know, that was a working title. It was something just to get the project going. And actually the word doble is double in Spanish, which means I was doubling my processing power from the old system to this system, because everything is double. In the last system I had a 4-core processor. Now I have an 8-core processor. I had 32 gigabytes of RAM. Now I'm moving up to 64 gigabytes of RAM. But now we have a final name, and that name is Vina. If you're curious to know how I came up with that name, leave a comment and I'll let you know. Okay, so the system is actually 98% complete. There's 2 things missing, and I need 2 more RAM chips to make it 64. Right now it's 32. And the reason for that is because of this situation that I had earlier. If you haven't seen the situation on it, watch one of my previous videos. So I'll let you know the end result on that memory situation. But as far as the system, it is fully functional. I mean, everything is working. All my software has been transferred. All my data has been transferred. Everything is complete. I mean, everything. I got Siri. I got iMessages. I got FaceTime. Everything is working fine. I'm not actually using the Siri yet because I don't have a microphone hooked up. And FaceTime, you know, of course you need a camera. So I'm gonna get a brand new webcam for this system. You know, a more up-to-date one, because this one is pretty dated. So I know they got more up-to-date web cameras on the market now with fancy features all the way up to 4K. So I just want to get something more up-to-date to go with the newness of the system. Okay everyone, so that's going to be it for this video. I'll probably make some sideline videos of some problems that I ran into and how I was able to solve them, you know, like the sound issue and the video card issue and any other little issues that I had. Those would be like smaller videos to help anybody else that's having issues on these things, because There's a lot of resources out there. You know, a lot of people make videos of how they solve their problem. And the Tony Mac x86 website has this forum where people have pretty much the same configuration as you to solve those issues. If you decide to go down the road of making a Hackintosh, don't feel like you're left in the dark. There's plenty of people out there to help you. And I will give you any kind of knowledge I have to help you out myself. But it's a good thing to go through this and try to get the computer working the way you really want it to. And if you run into these issues, you figure out how to make it work. You know, if you're that kind of person, don't tackle this stuff if you don't have patience, because you gotta have the patience to figure out these problems and not grab the sledgehammer and break the screen. But wait, so I know you want to know what I'm going to do with the old system, because that can't just sit down there and do anything. My purpose for the old system is to turn it into my stream box. Since I do my streaming online, my live streaming on the weekend, that's just going to be for streaming. It might do some other miscellaneous stuff, but right now it's going to be that dedicated system. So before I turn into a streamer, I was toying with, should I turn it into a Windows 10 machine? But I already have a laptop that's running Windows 10. I'm going to stick to the Mac OS on this one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually reinstall the operating system, give it a clean copy. All right, so I want to thank you for taking the time for watching this video. I look forward to see you next time. Have a good one.